It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
And welcome to the realm of geekdom. This is nerd breaking news. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss an episode. Today, we're going to be reviewing the trailer for the film The Thunderbolts. And let's go ahead and get the first reaction to this. Kid, I'll let you take the lead.
So I'm on record saying, I'm going to say it again. I think that we weren't asking for another trailer before this May release, and we were happy we got it. We saw, we can't, because we can't really speculate too much as it pertains to the plot. It's a little bit murky, and I think for positive purposes they're doing that. You have to do that with an ensemble like this. That the most anticipated aspect, especially for the nerds out there, because we know what this movie is going to be. This is going to be one of these movies that you heard it through word of mouth, you heard it through your friends, you didn't take it serious, and you have to see this film. This is not like the Fantastic Four where you kind of see, oh yeah, they're going to hit a home run on that movie. This is not like the Captain America movie where you're like, no, it might be a bomb, unfortunately. This is going to be one of these films that are like, dude, what are you doing? You haven't seen it yet. In the trailer, the Super Bowl, there was the last weekend. Again, it didn't need to hit that hard. It didn't need to go that hardcore. And it just got me so excited for the film because, again, there's so many ways you could go in this film. This is a film where I didn't know I wanted until I finally saw it, the trailer, right? Because you have, and I'm on record saying Taskmaster is a scrub of the highest order. It's a first ballot scrub. This roster's whatever. But then when you see it together on trailers, the second or third trailer, they're like, this is going to be a great film. You can hide it as much as you want, Marvel. This is going to be a good film. And I'll leave it before going to the professor. I think the most anticipated part for all nerds, DC Marvel, it doesn't matter how fun you are, is Sentry. Sentry has been a character that has been revered by the nerds. He's not a pop culture guy. He's not as popular guy. After this film, people are going to know who he is. They're going to know more about him. And I think if you predicated on what we saw in the trailer and the level of fear that they had against that man and what that man is going to come with, and you didn't fully show him, is genius by Marvel. That guy is going to wipe these people, and it's not a coincidence that they brought him here because they were like, what? James Gunn's doing Superman? This is our version of Superman, and we're going to show him, kind of like they showed Adam Warlock doing the flying and all that stuff, because Adam Warlock is OP. They're going to show Sentry do some stuff 2 months before James Gunn, and Marvel's petty, and they're brilliant for doing that. And I just think that if we're going to talk about it, we're going to gas this movie up because it deserves to be gassed up. And we're going to talk about it until May, and when it comes out, we'll review it. But this is a film that it has to be on your calendar, guys. You have to see this film.
Professor.
So with this movie in particular, I have a couple of thoughts. One, I think it's going to be excellent. When you're looking at the chemistry with the cast, they seem, you feel it. It looks like they have something very strong there in terms of how they interact. And the jokes land. So the jokes are actually funny this time. They're not just silly little quips and little one-liners. So I feel like there's a lot that they can do with this. I also think that they're hiding the plot twist. The obvious plot twist is that the Taskmaster dies. But I don't think that's the real plot twist to the movie. I think probably one or two more that are bigger than that. And that's what I think everyone's going to be talking about after the movie comes out. So the kid's point, I think this is a movie that's going to keep the MCU afloat for a couple of years. And good for them for figuring it out. Because I didn't even know I wanted this movie. But apparently I do. So good for them there.
I agree 100%. Like, you have a group of misfits getting together, no powers whatsoever, and basically they're facing against Superman. And this is going to be entertaining. This is going to be fun. How they're going to try to pull this off, and how that dynamic builds within the team. And it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun. And like the kid just said, the fear in their eyes, it literally just already builds that hey, the villain that they're facing is not something to mess around with. It is something that they're going to struggle with. And then on top of all of that, you have in the background, what's her name? Valentina Allegra Fontaine doing her own thing. Obviously, that ties into other possibilities of what's going on in this film. And honestly, I think that might be the plot twist that you're talking about, Professor, where we might have our see to something that's going to alter the course of the MCU.
Yep. Yeah, I'll keep that part to myself. Yeah.
No, tell us what?
Well, because the Sentry's villainous form is called the Void, and you've already seen a Void in the MCU, and he looks kind of like Goliath, so they might be the same thing. And then the other piece is the actor who they cast as Sentry doesn't look like the character at all. But the one who actually does look like the Robert Reynolds character is actually the Red Guardian guy. And I don't think that's a coincidence either. It could that could be a genius misdirect. Because what ends up happening in the comic books is that for a long time, the Sentry thinks of the Void as a whole different person. Because he has the power to create a whole different person. And then he finds out they're actually the same person. But he doesn't learn that until later. While he's sitting on his couch, eating bonbons, getting fat. And when you're looking at this cast, who's the fat one on there? I'm just saying. And the Sentry's nickname is the Golden Guardian of Good. And he's the Red Guard. I'm just saying.
A lot of ties for sure. Yeah, I see that.
I love it. One thing that we haven't talked about is that how this is going to, because you have two characters here from the Captain America Falcon show a couple years ago, right? You have U.S. Agent. You actually have three characters, right? You have Elaine from Seinfeld. You have who's trying to do her own Nick Fury type team in the background. You have U.S. Agent, who, by the way, U.S. Agent is so underrated. Even though you were rooting against him, right? You were like, man, I hope Bucky destroys him.
Brilliant
casting. You know what? Pretty cool.
Brilliant casting.
Yeah. Wyatt
Russell?
Yeah, Wyatt Russell. Yeah. You know how I feel about the Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and you know how I feel about Taskmaster. I think you need bench players, so I guess you have to have somebody sign up for the team. I'll be surprised if Red Guardian sacrificed himself for his daughter. That's kind of like, you can see that coming. And then, unlike James Gunn's Suicide Scrubs a couple years ago, where you kind of, the first 10 minutes of the movie kind of threw you in a loop of like, oh, it's the other side of the beach is safe, and this side of the beach, everybody's getting destroyed. I think when the Thunderbolts, it's not going to be as hard, as obvious as that was seen in that movie. I think for here, and I think you feel the presence of that political stuff in the background, kind of like Captain America, my favorite movie, Winter Soldier. You kind of feel there's going to be like, somebody's going to trick somebody here. Somebody's going to sell somebody out here. Somebody's going to get a good deal from Elaine and kind of say, deuces, I don't need you. All that stuff. Yeah. And I just feel like, and don't underestimate the fact that Bucky's and Thunderbolts, which he's universally loved. Everybody loves that guy, Sebastian Stan. And then don't underestimate the idea also that Sam Wilson is doing his own film. He's doing the Thunderbolts. They're back-to-back films. They both predicated from that same TV show. There's going to be a lot of correlations from the Captain America film that comes out tomorrow and Thunderbolts. So I just think that good job, Marvel, that you're tying something up, loose ends, and to me that's one of the best MCU TV shows, with the exception of the villain. The villain was horrible, but it was such a good show. It was a good. Oh wow, you got a weird fantastical element from WandaVision, and then you got a very serious political tone. Pretty cool MCU. That's when they're in their infancy with the TV shows. So I just think the action's going to be fire. You like the girl because she's been hitting home runs for the last 5 years. She's likable. Forgot her name. Or Florence Pugh. I think so she, it's what Jay said about the other video we were doing. Just they're likable people that you have. The cast has to take you to a story because again, these are not home run hitters, but you put together the chemistry, because we've seen the daughter and we've seen the dad already in one film. We've seen U.S. Agent, we've seen Bucky. There's a little bit of tension there. How does this all go together? And I just think that this is a film where you're like, man, I didn't see this coming, and this could change the trajectory for the MCU because they've been taking recent L's the last 2-3 years. And I think this is the film that people, again, this is my prediction. Man, you haven't seen it, go watch it. As opposed to Fantastic Four, where, oh, no. This is a potential $1 billion film, even with Paolo Pascal.
Correct. And I think this film is also going to be the turning point in the sense of the storyline as well. Because obviously, we were trying to build up as Khan being the big baddie for this second, for this type of arc that we're doing right now, until the guy got himself in trouble legally. This is flipping the script, and we're starting to build. We're starting to build up towards Doom being the big baddie. And this is the first film. So, yes, it's going to be a huge film when it comes to changing the whole MCU. I can't wait to see this dynamic between the team, how they're going to have their mishaps and they're going to go back and forth and eventually come together as a team, kind of like what we saw in the Justice League, but a lot better. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Don't underestimate the idea, TK. Don't underestimate the idea, TK, the idea that people are like sleeping on this film, man, because there's no big home run. There's no big home run. Florence Pugh is a star, but is she a superstar? But she's a star.
Well, this is a team, though. So do you really need that big superstar? I think you have recognizable names there, people that recognize the characters. And we're talking about, Bucky being one of the U.S. agent being another. Those characters, we remember who they are. And I think just because of the character, they should be able to.
Sebastian Stan has a little bit of grace with the public. People like him a lot.
Correct.
What's the guy from Red Guardian? He's beloved in Stranger Things from the community. So he gets a little bit of freedom. From what I'm arguing is that these are good actors. These are good people. You know what I'm saying? Like James Gunn in Suicide Scrubs, he got big time people to do that with, especially with Cena and Idris Elba and all that stuff. So they were the main two. You don't have that here. But here's the cool thing about that here. We had chances to interact with them in other films. We just Suicide Squad. Here's Peacemaker and here's he was in Deadshot. I forgot what his name was. Idris Elba. Like here they are, and here we're gonna put them.
Correct. Yeah.
MCU does a great job, and they're gonna infiltrate these characters because we've seen them before. It just So again,
and the fact that they're not big names also gives them that whole underdog feel to them as well, especially if they're gonna face off against the Void. And again, that's a huge dynamic. I think
Marvel's done a great job because again, we don't really know the intricacies of the story. We're just like, okay, they have to go on a mission. But that's what's going to make the film like, holy crap.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
And that gets me excited, right? The Fantastic Four trailer. I gave it a B-ish. Did we really go into the trailer, into the plot? Not really. And it already got me excited.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to, the winter, what's it called? A Brave New World with Anthony Mackie. You can give me Blue Hulk, Green Hulk.
The more you see Hulk,
you give me the Rainbow of Hope. And then I'll be the first thing I'll tell you is, wait, Anthony Mackie's here?
Oh man!
They bust
All
out
right,
with
any
Kool-Aid
final?
to get us in there.
Exactly. Any final thoughts for the Thunderbolts?
Excited.
Underrated, guys. Underrated. Put this on your radar.
This will be the turning point for the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
You have to make time for this film. Trust me, you don't want to be one of those who's going to be sitting in the back waiting. One of your friends tell you, why haven't you seen it?
Last thing, we will actually be, and I don't want to speak for everybody here, but I would be pleasantly shocked if this movie's trash. Like, I would be like, what?
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
We weren't saying that last year. That tells you how much this film is going to be like, guys, stop sleeping.
It's already changed your opinion. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Last year, the kid was waxing me in Marvel versus DC debates. I had no argument at all. I was like, oh, yeah.
And
now, but Professor, it looks like the MCU is back, and this is the film that's going to turn things around. So let's see if DC could respond, because they also because the summer will be a big battle for Superman against the Fantastic Four. So we're going to have to see. So thank you everyone for tuning in, whether you're a Jedi, time traveler, or one of the misfits here in the Thunderbolts. Keep your fandom alive and your warp drive engaged. Until next time, fellow nerds, this is Nerd Day.
Wow.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.